Let's see, are we going? I can't even tell.
It's going.
All right, good, thanks. Hey, welcome to Integrative Preparedness. I'm Santa Claus. No, I'm not. I'm Steve Smith. I'm still Steve Smith. Gonna shoot one today on fear and opportunity. You know, I've heard, as you probably have, and I should have had a drink of water before I did this. We've been climbing on houses all day long, and so I got dry mouth, but right, not a perfect world. You've probably heard that the Chinese symbol for danger and opportunity are the same. I don't have any idea whether that's true. I don't speak Chinese or write Chinese or read it. So maybe it is, maybe it's not, but it makes a good story. But fear and opportunity often go hand in hand. You know, for years I've told people that that opportunity is usually disguised as hard work, which is why so many people fail to recognize it when they see it. Well, opportunity is also hidden sometimes behind fear. So I'm going to tell you a little bit, a story about a fear of mine and what came about. We live in a Christmas neighborhood, and if you wonder what in the heck that has to do with anything, I'll tell you here in just a second. We live in a Christmas neighborhood. It's one of these neighborhoods where everybody decorates. And our neighborhood was voted like the #1 Christmas neighborhood in, you know, the city for, I don't know, 20 some years. I think it still is, in a row. And we moved in, and like everybody else in that neighborhood, I paid somebody to put up my lights because I don't like heights. And that's being charitable. I'm scared to death of heights, or at least I was. And so I kept paying this guy to put lights on my house, and you know, people would drive through every night and ooh and ah at all the houses and things. And it was a lot of fun. But every year he kept raising the prices on me. And I thought, well, he's not doing a better job, and he's not putting up more lights, so why is he raising the prices? And it started kind of ticking me off, and I thought, well, I ought to be able to put up my own lights, but I could never get over that fear. Well, finally my house needed paint, and so I got some bids, and when I saw what they wanted to paint my house, I was more scared of writing that check than I was of at least I thought that I was, of heights. So I said, certainly, you know, you ought to be able to get out there and get over this fear. And I had young kids. Well, my kids are still young, but they were even younger then, and I didn't want them to think Daddy was afraid of anything. So I said, okay, now's the time to deal with this. So I got my little 16-foot ladder out, and which reaches next to nothing on my house, and got my paint, and I went out there. I started painting my house. Well, once I got about 2 rungs up off the ground, I started getting little alligator arms and legs, and you know, painting like this, and it took me forever. I painted 8 feet up all the way around my house. And then I said, well, you got to get braver, so I finally got up another rung or 2, I don't know, and I got a couple more feet on top of that. Well, my house is something like 38 feet tall, so you can imagine how long it took me, 2 feet at a time. It looked all summer like my house was filling up with paint. Stupid. Well, so finally, by the time I got done painting that house, I was a little bit, I'll give you a nice view of where we are here. There we go. Yeah, that's where we are.
Sky view.
Yeah, let's see how I turn you around. It's very pretty. I'll try not to make you dizzy, but over there is some real pretty country. And my boys are down on the street playing. And close your eyes if you want to while I twirl you around here faster. Okay, so anyway, I got done painting that house, and I thought, okay, now I can put up my own Christmas lights. So the next year came about, and I got some lights, and it still took me, I wasn't over my fear at all. It took me a long time to do it, but I finally got them up, and I put up more lights just like I wanted to. Well, our neighborhood has a progressive Christmas dinner every year, so we were at this dinner, and one of the neighbors complimented my house, and I think I won the award for the best house that year or something. I'm not sure. And they complimented, and I said thank you, and Kelly, my wife, says, yeah, he had so much fun doing that, he thought maybe he'd do other people's houses. Well, I think I'd said that, but I was just kind of kidding. And 2 of my neighbors immediately said, well, I'll pay you, do my house. Well, I didn't know if they were kidding or not, but I said, well, okay. the next year comes around, and they say, hey, are you really going to do my house? And I said, well, yeah, I guess I will. You know, I had no clue as to what I was doing. I didn't know where to get Christmas lights. I was the dumbest guy. But anyway, I said, sure. So I got to thinking, I says, you know, these guys make a lot of money out there. And if I just, if I did a few houses, that would go a long ways to paying for Christmas for the kids. So I sent off and I ordered a few signs. And, you know, Christmas lights, whatever. And, so I took them out and I stuck them around. I said, if I can get maybe 3 or 4 houses, that'll be kind of fun. And so I did. And I stuck my signs all over the place. And the next day, all my signs were gone. And I finally kind of figured out that it was one of the other Christmas light companies that stole all my signs and threw them away. But somehow, people started calling, and they said that they had just happened to see a sign and they'd written the number on a scrap piece of paper and whatever. To make a long story short, that first year I had 27 houses that I had to do by myself, and it was a horrible winter. It was cold. I didn't know what I was doing. I was still scared to death. A house now that will take me 3 hours to do by myself took me 3 days back then. And so I got through that first winter, and I thought, what in the world have I gotten myself in? I never want to do this again. But the next year I did. And the next year or the next year after that, so I got a little bit better, had a little bit idea what I was doing anyway. And the next year, I think, ran into Mark, and Mark here is, and he's my top guy in pretty much everything, not just Christmas lights. Yeah, our group, and we don't call it a group or a mag or anything like that, it was just a circle of friends. We're very deep medically, and we're very deep. I've never really talked about this before, but we're deep medically, we're deep gun-wise, we're deep in a lot of areas, and Mark is at the top of that. He's a retired special operations medic, and now an ER nurse, and what do they call that? CR? You were a CRN, critical.
Yeah, critical response nurse.
Critical response nurse. Yeah. These guys are who the doctors ask what to do when somebody comes in really bad shape. So we're fortunate to have them. And I was, because Mark came working with me a few years ago, and then one day I put a jump ladder to go from one roof to the next, and I didn't set that ladder right. And I'd set that ladder 100 times, and this time I thought, well, I think there's a better way. Well, it wasn't a better way. And I came down, and he yelled, "You all right?" And I says, I don't know. Hey, well,
it wasn't a yes.
I busted my radius so much that it took a plate or two and 7 screws to put it back together again. And Mark got me down off the roof. I went and got it x-rayed. They said, yeah, your arm's a mess, calls the surgeon. But I still went back and helped him load back up afterwards.
You did. You did.
No sissies in our group.
Nope.
But anyway, that business has grown more than I can tell you. I turn down business every year, and it's not my it's just a fun gig. We do it as much for fun as anything. We get out here once a year, we climb all over, we throw around 32 and 40-foot ladders. You know, we get rid of the 20 pounds we gained over the rest of the year and get back in fighting shape.
Yeah.
And I run all over these roofs, and it's a ball. Yeah. The point of this is, and I'm going to have the guru put in a couple of pictures so you kind of see what I'm talking about. I'll have him put in a picture of me doing the peak of my house, and I'll be the one on the top of the ladder. Mark's holding me down and waiting for me to bounce. He promises to catch me on the first bounce. And so I'll have him put that one in right here. Okay, now you're back, and then I'll show you a picture of what we do, and I'll have the guru put in a picture of my house with the lights up right here. Okay, very good. The point of this is that, and I hear a lot of people out there, you know, they want extra money, they want extra opportunities. Ways to make money is all around you. I can't get to lunchtime without thinking of 3 new ways to make money. And like I say, this certainly isn't my main gig. You know, I write books and do some other things, but this is something I look forward to every year. And nothing. I'm going to be 66 years old here next month, and I can still throw these ladders around. Yeah. And you know, you keep on going so you don't get old. But anyway, the point is that anything that other people are afraid to do, can't do, or don't want to do is an opportunity for you. Okay? It's an opportunity for you either to start a business, to make money, or, and you know, a lot of people talk about how do you make yourself valuable in a group. That's it too. There's always going to be things that people don't want to do, don't know how to do, or are afraid to do. And you get in there and you learn how to do it and get over your fear. And getting over fear is a major thing anyway. If you do an audit on yourself and ask yourself, what are you afraid of? And be honest with yourself, and then you go out there and usually exposure to it and dealing with it and overcoming it is the way to do it.
Repetition. Yeah,
that's right, repetition. And the more you do it and don't die, then that's what it's all about.
It's a win.
And that's right. And then you realize, guess what? This isn't going to kill me unless I'm crazy. So take that and find something that can improve your life and add to your life and expand your life and expand your abilities. And don't limit yourself. I repeat this so many times, but I realize whatever limitations you have, and I mean, I know there are some people that have some limitations that are not self-imposed, but most limitations that people deal with throughout their lives are self-imposed, and it's just a matter of facing them and gutting it out and doing what it takes to get over them. So we're going to go back and finish this monster house and have a good day, and it's a beautiful day out there. And if you're inside somewhere watching this, I'm sorry, because we tell each other, now this is a nice day, but we're out on these houses when it's cold and it's raining and it's snowing, and we're usually not out on icy days, although we have been. But even at that, we say, you know what? It beats working.
Sure does.
You're going to hear more from this guy because I'm going to get him to talk about combat medicine, field medicine, trauma medicine, things like that. And I know a lot of guys, and there's not a better one to learn from than this. And so I'm going to keep at him until he gets on here. But you all have a good day, and remember that we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow. So go out there and find something new to prepare at and make tomorrow better. Okay? Okay. Thanks a lot. You all have a good day. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.